fights in contained spaces, lots and lots of different people coming at it from a different angle, and then keep it as light as possible. We wanted the comedy to shine through.
I loved when I get to like chuck something in someone's face, like bash something else, right? Like to use a prop. I love using props.
If you're asking an audience to come to something like this, you owe it to them to have it be like no fat, like to just keep it going.
So to start this off on a lighter note, besides Fight or Flight, what is your favorite movie set on an airplane?
Airplane.
Nice.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of flying, so I really don't like to watch Planes in Peril. So, I mean, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is pretty up there with like one of the best movies of all time.
Oh my God. It's going to be the Snakes on a Plane. I also really like Red Eye. Yeah. Oh my God. Actually, now thinking about it, there's so many out there.
Ooh, maybe Airplane.
How soon can you land? I can't tell. You can tell me, I'm a doctor.
I feel like Lucas has a whole crazy history that we didn't get to see in the film. Obviously, we get to see some of it, but how much of his background did you work out on your own?
We spent a lot of time sort of rewriting this in the year before we shot it, and we got to a point where we wanted it to be as unique as possible, but still keep it within this very kind of simple genre, which is fights in contained spaces, lots and lots of different people coming at it from a different angle, and then keep it as light as possible. We wanted the comedy to shine through. And I was always obsessed with the sort of like 90s style of action comedy where you got a guy like Bruce Willis in Last Boy Scout, or even in Die Hard, where he's pretty hard, like he's down on his luck at the beginning. There's a lot of stuff that's going wrong. And so you take this person that's already been through the crucible, they think, and then you put them in a deeper fire, out of the frying pan into the fire, as they say. And I think that lends itself to a lot of comedy. It also lends itself to jeopardy for the character and makes this a lot more fun for audiences. And so that was the take that I had on the whole thing. And I thought, I mean, watching it with an audience last night, they seemed to be really into watching Lucas get beat up. So it was fun. It was fun.
When the action here is awesome and it really follows that John Wick style of not cutting a ton, but I know that makes it a lot tougher on the actor, as there's a lot less that can be hidden in the edit. So how did you take to the fight choreography?
I loved it. That was the conceit of these films, is that the actors do their own stunts, and I find it. I was looking for that. That's why I wanted to do something like this to begin with, was I wanted to see if I could still do it. The last time I did all my own stunts was for a movie called Bunraku, and I was 29 years old. I was 45 when we shot this, and that's a different life. The recovery time is. I didn't recover fully from this for a few months after we finished, but I loved being a part of the team and kind of going through the whole thing. And the guy who was my stunt double, Clayton, is the one who sort of helped choreograph all these things with me and taught me how to do a lot of the stuff that my character has to do within the piece. And then he actually did one of the stunts for me because we only had 25 days to shoot this, and also they were worried that I might get cut and then it would slow down production. And so when I don't get thrown into the bar, that one spot, but everything else is me, and I couldn't have done that without this amazing team surrounding me, like the choreographers, the stunt choreographers, and the other stunties who were doing this. They saved me. It was awesome to be a part of that team.
Well, and I'm always so pumped whenever you show up in a film or TV show. What is your favorite part of getting to play Catherine Brunt?
Oh my gosh, that I didn't have to get dirty. I think this is the only movie I've ever done in my entire life where I didn't leave with bruises at the end of the project. And I do have a little bit of like stunt envy, to be honest, But what I loved about her was that she was no nonsense from the moment you meet her. She's having a terribly, terribly bad day, as is Josh. And their terribly bad days are uniquely connected and sort of mirror each other. But she never gives up. Like, that is the thing. She never stops thinking. She's the smartest person in the room. And if you show weakness or failure around her, she doesn't take kindly to that.
Well, and you work with Josh a lot in this, but it's over the phone. So did you actually work together during the film, or was it one of those like, oh, we met during marketing?
No, we actually met in Budapest, thankfully. And we were shooting our scenes concurrently, in a sense that you know, we were alternating days, and so we were listening to what the other person was doing during their scene. So we had an energy to work off of, for sure, which was great. We were sort of talking through the script. If lines changed, it would change the other person's dialogue. So we had to have this sort of symbiotic relationship throughout filming, just to make sure that those phone calls still worked, especially because all of my phone calls were on camera as well. So it's not like it was voiceover and you know, could change my dialogue afterwards.
You also get several laughs in the film. Is it important for you to have someone that's like multifaceted for you to sink your teeth into?
I think that humor is so closely associated with trauma and disaster, that this is no different. Josh does a magnificent job finding the humor in almost every moment. You are laughing as much as you are on the edge of your seat the entire movie. He and Charithra just did such a phenomenal job with this, and I'm just in awe of their dynamic with each other. It's really great.
Your character has a bit of mystery around them. How much are you allowed to say?
I can say that Isha is not all that she seems. Keep an eye on that one, is what I'll say.
When you're initially reading the script, what's the moment that made you go, oh my God, I have to do this?
I mean, I think it's in the great reveal, which I won't say what the great reveal is, but there is one. Ooh, I almost slipped. But you know, I think it's so exciting as an actor to be able to play a character that's not quite what they seem, and you get to flex so many different muscles, and like to be able to do the comedy, to be able to do the drama, to be able to do the action. Yeah, it's really fun.
When you share a lot of screen time with Josh, and he's been in this industry for nearly 30 years, what was your biggest takeaway from working with him?
No matter what's going on, I think Josh is like 100% committed. He'll never like take it chill for a take, right? He's like giving it his all always. And I think it's that level of commitment and drive that's allowed him to have this like uber successful career for so long.
And how long was the shoot?
It was really like, it was a very speedy shoot. I think it was 6 to 7 weeks in total, which is crazy, but we got it done.
And you also get to get in on the action a bit here. How did you take to the stunt work?
I loved it. Like, I'm so addicted to, I want to do more stunts, and I do some stunts in One Piece as well. But it's like so adrenaline pumping, and you feel so proud of yourself. And I think there's always an element of like, you don't know how it's going to be pieced together and how it comes together. So that's really exciting to finally see the end product.
Did you have a favorite stunt to perform?
I loved when I get to like chuck something in someone's face, like bash something else, right? Like to use a prop. I love using props.
Oh, and now the film is really set up for a sequel. What do you hope to see Isha up to?
I think letting in more people. I think forming like more genuine relationships. I'd also love to see her fight more. Which we see a little bit, you see a little, but I'd love to see her fight more, and I'd love to see her form more genuine relationships, and like her be happy, like her have joy. Because the film is really, really funny, but like it's not necessarily, you're mainly laughing at the characters and the situations rather than like the characters laughing with the audience. So yeah, I'd love to see Isha have some joy.
I loved how high energy the film is. What do you think the key is to keeping that momentum going throughout?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, especially when you've got to be really cognizant when you have a situation that all takes place in one environment, like a plane. It could really easily get stale, you know? So, and with a story like this, you know, it's amazing. People feel like there's a lot of action, because there's also a lot of making sure that the plot goes forward and the characters keep developing in the way that you want, and then you're unveiling things in the right way. So it's really great to know that. I feel like in a movie like this, if you're telling Oppenheimer, take your time, you know, and get all that in there. If you're asking an audience to come to something like this, you owe it to them to have it be like no fat, like to just keep it going. There was one scene that I swore we couldn't live without, because to me it was like an important plot point, and people were like, we should lose that, and I was like, there's no way, it can't work without it. And then we took it out and it was like way better. So it's I just think with a movie like this, you're entertaining people are here to have fun, so you got to make sure you do that.
I've always been such a big fan of Josh Hartnett, and I've loved the resurgence that he's having. As the lead of your film, what makes Josh a special actor?
The thing that makes him special is he's just for him, it's all about the performance and the character and the story. When we heard that he was interested, right when I came on board, the producers had mentioned like Josh Hartnett's interested in this, and I was like, oh my God, that's perfect, because I didn't want this to be sort of a clone. Everyone is trying to make a clone of John Wick, and those movies are so amazing because of Chad and Keanu and that character, and you'd be a fool to try and copy it. And for me, I see things through a much more sort of absurdist and kind of comedic lens. Like, I'm a big fan of the Coen brothers and Monty Python, things like that. And I really wanted this to be something that tracked a character in a certain way, that was a little bit more like when he gets hurt, he really gets hurt. And you kind of feel that and track the story in a different way. So when Josh came along, he was so in sync with that. And for him, it was so about the character. I was like, I don't care if he can do the stunts. Like, this is exactly what I want, because he was just caring about the right things. And then he was like, well, I want to do all the fighting. I was like, well, I hope that's possible. And then he worked so hard, like around the clock, learning everything, because there wasn't loads of time, for him to really get all that stuff right. And it's a miracle that you get the performance, you get that character, but you have this incredible athleticism that he's able to pick things up quite quickly. I mean, the stunt guys are like, we've never seen a non-stunt guy pick up choreography so fast, that I can stay on him and I can stay with him, and it can be him throughout. Was just, that's why we have the movie we have.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.